The problem I have tonight is that I can hear you all right, but my ears are blocked because I've got. I'm not joking, you, mate.
Am I listening to last week's podcast now?
It's just the fact I've got the cold and it's a build up of catarrh and stuff, so I've got antibiotics and things like that to take. But
I thought it was Florida you were going to, no Qatar.
Hey. And have you ever had macaroni and Tony macaroni?
I haven't, no.
No. Apparently the macaroni in Tony macaroni is supposed to be excellent.
Really? Do you think they have a Tony macaroni in the Tony Macaroni Stadium in Livingston?
I'm not quite sure, but this is probably the most amount of times that the word macaroni could be used on a podcast.
Quite possibly. Unless they're talking about the Tony Macaroni podcast and having macaroni.
Which I don't think there is one, so
no.
There you go. Anyway, let's just start the podcast properly. You ready?
Yes.
Brought to you by Pepsi Max Ginger. I would like
ginger.
to add.
Oh man, yes. That's horrible.
To me, having Pepsi Max Ginger's maybe just like your wife putting a different coloured wig on or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
I was getting worried what you were going to say there. What about a merkin?
Merkin?
You never heard of a merkin?
Oh no, here we go.
Have you got the ability to Google?
Oh God, I don't know if I should. Is this going to put up like a? Is this going to put something on my browsing history, which is like?
No, it's just a perfectly valid thing. I wouldn't do it at work, obviously, but. Murkin? Yeah.
Right, hold on. Wikipedia. Is it a merkin?
Merkin, sorry, yeah.
A merkin is a pubic wig.
Yes, a fanny wig, if you will.
Derek, is this not supposed to be the end of the pod that we have this conversation? No.
Well, we started early the night.
Okay, right. I've had my Pepsi Max. I'm ready to go.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Manchester, brace yourself. Rangers are coming!
Hi everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Ayr Ready podcast. As ever, I'm your host Derek, and with me is my co-host Dave. How are you doing, Dave?
I'm very well, mate. Derek, I am in chill-out holiday mode, mate. Surprise, surprise. But going on holiday soon, finished work this morning, just totally chilled out, can't wait.
Why is it not me? You've actually been quite good this year so far with holidays, haven't you? We've not had to postpone any podcasts because of it, so...
What do you mean, good?
Aye, you've only had your 3 holidays again this year.
I tell you, I get slated for the amount of holidays. I think I deserve them, mate.
Well, what do you think I should deserve then? I've not had a holiday in when was the last time I had a holiday? 2 Octobers ago.
I think for your everything that's been going on in your personal life, mate, I think with the wee coming along and all that, that's these sort of fancy holidays with you and your wife, that's all over. You'll have to do this sort of Bradley Bear and all these things. That's what you've got coming to you. Going to all the kids' holidays and stuff like that. That's what you've got going for you. Saying that, we're staying in Disney for 2 weeks. So
the big kid himself, eh?
Exactly. Yes. No. Looking forward to it, mate. And as we've just been discussing, I think I'm only going to miss 1 match in total, which is not too bad. So. We'll wait and see what happens.
Yes, so just on that note, I've actually got my holidays for next year booked, so I'm awaiting my mum and dad's timeshare. So
quality, mate.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So a year to wait for that. Yes.
It's alright, I'll put plenty of pictures on Facebook, mate, and you can see what's happening on my holiday.
And by the time I go on that holiday, you'll have probably been on another holiday, wouldn't you have? Because you normally go in April, don't you?
Well, Derek, we've got next year's holidays sort of planned already, shall we say.
I need it. Yes, we are here though to talk about other things other than Dave's holiday. We have got 2 games to cover, one decent and one disgraceful,
Yes.
but we'll obviously get into that in due course. So we'll go down the tunnel and onto the park. Yes, the first game we've got to cover is Wednesday the 26th of September. It was a 4-0 home win against Ayr United in the League Cup quarter-final. We lined up Fotheringham, Flanagan, Katic, Worrell, Halliday, Dorrans, McCrory, Ejaria, Kent, Middleton and Morelos. On the subs bench we had Robbie McCrory, Wallace, Goldson, Rossiter, Kelly, Gresda and Arfield. So obviously quite a few changes there, Dave, wasn't it?
Yeah, there certainly was, and the bench as well. Derek seen the return of Rossiter and also Gresda getting involved with the first team squad as well, and as we said in the last pod, also Lee Wallace. So good that there's these options on the bench as well, and looking strong. Yeah,
and the average age of the starting 11, according to Tom Miller, was just over age 22, which is incredible.
Is that right?
Considering,
that's incredible, yeah.
Considering, you go back a couple of seasons and it was like pushing into the kind of mid-30s, which is...
Yep.
So it was brilliant to see that the youngsters are getting bedded in there.
Yep, brilliant. Superb.
So we kind of thought this game was going to be a bit of a formality, and there was no disrespect to Ayr United, but certainly it turned out to be that way, didn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. On the front foot, straight from kick-off, which is what we like to see.
Saying that, I did think that Ayr did start fairly brightly. They had a couple of chances in the first kind of 10-12 minutes here. Certainly in the 9th minute they had a curling shot on the edge of the box, forcing Fotheringham to put it over the top of the bar with his fingertips. And in the 12th minute the ball was scrambled away from the 6-yard line, with Fotheringham having to come out and have make a save as well. So certainly the danger signs were there if we weren't switched on, but fortunately that's really the only things that they done all game. We basically controlled the game from after that, didn't we?
Yep, definitely.
First major chance for us was on the 15th minute. There was a good cross from Middleton on the left, across the face of goal, but Morelos couldn't get to it and the defender put it out for the corner. Just a minute later though, it was the resulting corner. Katic put us 1-0 up. Superb corner from Kent and an amazing header from Katic into the back of the net. Really bullet header into the opposite corner. Brilliant to see, wasn't it?
Yep, he's done that a couple of times for us now, Derek, and it's good that we've got a threat in the air going forward now, not just good in the air defence wise and excellent, because we've not had that in a while, have we? No, certainly not. It was a great corner as well. I mean, I think we've got a few players who, maybe not every time, but certainly more often than not now, that can actually put a great cross and a great set piece into the box as well. So yep. 23rd minute, Middleton floated a free kick from 25 yards on the right into the back post. Katic couldn't quite get to the ball, but it was another good chance, and if he had connected it was almost a certainty he would have scored, I think. Yes. Mm-hmm. And in the 30th minute we went 2-0 up with Glenn Middleton getting a goal. Halliday gets the ball on the left. He plays a brilliant chip forward into the box for the on-running Middleton, who hits it with his hip to control it. I think he'd taken another touch, and with his second touch he hit a ball past the keeper. It was an outstanding piece of vision from Halliday and even better, the actual execution of the wee chip, the wee dink just over the defenders onto Middleton, and brilliant from Middleton for the control and the composure for the finish. It was like a sort of double take, Derek, wasn't it? Like, that couldn't have been Halliday that did that, surely. And then when we look back and we seen it was, and as you say, it was absolutely fantastic, that sort of curling chip through ball to him, as you say, completely taking the defence out altogether. Incredible vision. Just shows you how Andy Halliday's confidence is sky high at the moment, Derek, isn't it? He's Stephen Gerrard is giving him a chance in the team. He's put his faith in him, and he's to be fair, the last few games, Derek, he's never put a foot wrong, and that pass was just sensational. And then going on to the finish, again, sheer confidence by Middleton to take it on and score it. The guy looks an absolute class act. Yeah, I mean, considering how young he is as well, it was 18, yep. And it's amazing how composed he seems to be already for a youngster, and we've handled him in the right way. We've kind of, I think that's what
the background team and Gerrard are fully aware of, that you can't just throw these youngsters into the big time and try and get them as many games as they can. They need to be bled in gradually, and keep their feet on the ground, which they're doing with Middleton and all the other youngsters. So it's brilliant to see that way.
Yep.
36th minute, once again we're talking about referees. Moment of controversy. Morelos was clearly taken out by a follow through tackle. I mean, the Ayr United guy got the ball initially, but the follow through was a disgrace, and it was a clear studs to his ankle. Really dangerous challenge. No foul given, right in front of the referee. Morelos was on the ground. The referee was standing right above him, and Morelos obviously mouthed something, throws his arms up in the air. He never went crazy or anything like that. He just threw his arms up in the air, and the referee gave him a booking, and that rules him out for the semi-final now.
That does, yes, which is going to cause us major headaches.
And it's one of these things I mentioned on the on the Twitter at the time. It seems to be that the referees just thought, it's Morelos, he's at it again, right, I'm just going to book him and put him in line. But what he done didn't appear to be anything like what happened in the UFA game. He was on the deck, he never went over to the referee, he didn't look overly aggressive, and what he done was no different to what we've seen players time and time again do and get away with it. So it's the reputation of Morelos preceding him, and some people blamed Morelos for ruling himself out of this one and getting a yellow card, but no, it was just absolutely ludicrous refereeing in this one. I fully back Morelos. I've been a big critic of Morelos for his attitude, but he was no way in the wrong here, and damn right I would be angry if I got a challenge like that done on me, a very dangerous one, and then never mind no yellow card for the opposing player, no foul, which was even worse.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that was the sickener bit there, but into half time we go, it went 2-0 up, so obviously it was all looking pretty bright, and Morelos must have came out in half time and thought, right, I need to prove myself again, and he scored in the 48th minute. We went 3-0 up with him scoring. It was a corner in from the left, comes to McCrory at the near side, who appeared to kind of sclaff it. It falls to Morelos in the middle of the box, and he done a great turn and shot and puts it into the back of the net. Fantastic goal, wasn't it?
Yep, reminiscent of Michael Malls there, Derek, wasn't it? He sort of, as you say, the swiveling shot, which was what Michael Malls was absolutely fantastic at. But, great striker's instincts in the right place at the right time, and, great goal.
Yep, and he was literally hooked about a minute later, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was because, we were 3-0 up, game over, or it was a case of just take him off now to save him getting a red card, potentially, or I don't know if it was the thinking of Gerrard and his background team that, well, we're going to be without him for the semi-final, so we may as well try something different. So it was great if that was the case. I don't think it's been clarified, but he came off nonetheless, and Grezda came on for him. More or less straight off the bat, Grezda was looking lively, he was getting involved in everything, and I think, certainly the performance he's shown there, if he starts to get match fit, he's going to be a big handful for the defenders of opposing teams. In the 53rd minute, he gets a shot off in the box, but it was deflected and into the hands of the keeper. 2 minutes later, on the 55th minute, Dorrans came off and Rossiter came on. He put in a solid performance, but it was good to see Jordan Rossiter getting a wee run out as well.
Yeah, definitely, yep.
66th minute, it was a quick break up the park with Rossiter and Grezda. Grezda tried to pass it forward. It was blocked by the defender, but a fortunate deflection right to the path of our attacker, but it was eventually snuffed out by the keeper. 68th minute, McCrory came off and Kelly came on. Gerrard is absolutely raving about him, so that's another one of these players he's gradually building up and getting him a wee bit game time here and there, not to kind of burn him out too quickly. So it was good to see him get on the park. And a minute later we went 4-0 up with Glenn Middleton scoring his second of the day. Halliday passed to Middleton down the middle of the park. It was tight between two defenders. His first touch was brilliant and it took it past one defender, and then he shoots with his second touch into the back of net. Brilliant vision again from Halliday, and another cracking finish and skill from Middleton to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, no, it was excellent, and it's great to see. Obviously, that the likes of Halliday can he's enjoying having a player like Middleton in front of him. He knows that if he can play, a half decent ball through, the lad is going to be on the end of it, Derek, and he's going to, carve out a chance for himself. So it's absolutely brilliant to see, and his confidence is sky high. It's sky high, and we're going to go into the next game, but really surprised that he wasn't on for the start in the next game, considering how well he played in that game, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last thing to round out the game here was in the 79th minute, Ajaria starts a move in midfield, ends up with Kent, and had a great curling shot on the edge of the box, but it was saved by the keeper. It ended up falling to Middleton on the other side of the box, who controlled it, cuts it back inside, and then hits a shot just wide. If he had maybe taken it first time, that he could have been seeing himself getting a hat-trick there, but it was still, great control and great composure anyway, nonetheless, and it just went just wide, so unlucky for the youngster there, but certainly a resounding win, can't argue with that. Into the next round.
Into the next round, Derek, I don't know if you want to speak about the next round coming up. I know that you're going to get into the fixture chaos and everything and the change today, but going back to Alfredo Morelos being out, obviously Kyle Lafferty's cup tied. Who do you play as the striker?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is, obviously Sadiq was the you would argue the next in line. He's the third striker, but obviously with Gerrard's comments about him, which was quite telling, to be honest. He was actually asked pre-match before the Livingston game about Sadiq, and he says that he needs to prove on everything if he's to get a look in the first team. He states that he has to warrant a place. That's great to see, to be honest. He's not going to get in the team just because he's, the only one there and he's needed. He's not going to allow that to happen, it looks like. And certainly it was, you could argue it's the nuclear option, basically criticising the player in the media, out in public. He's obviously done things other ways, in behind the closed doors with him, and it's not worked. So, press the nuclear button and criticise him in the media, and maybe that will get him motivated. But it seems to me that it's good that he's not going to, well, potentially anyway, not going to use him if he's not cutting the mustard. But it obviously then does leave us with a headache up front.
Well, that's, as I say, I don't think he is going to play him, Derek, because he's just no featured, has he? He's no had a sniff of the first team. He obviously doesn't trust him, to go in there. He's obviously not got enough confidence, and that's the question now. Who is going to play that striker role? Now, when Morelos came off and Grezda went on, was Grezda playing as the sort of striker at that point, Derek?
I think he was, yes. So I mean, he was certainly lively up front, but I wouldn't class him as an out-and-out striker. So.
No, and that's the problem. I would be inclined, just going by the way that he has been playing, and as I say, in my opinion, we'll get into the next game. It was a shocker that he wasn't playing for the start, but why not put Middleton as the striker, Derek?
Yeah.
Put him in the centre and just make sure your front three. Obviously, we've got Ryan Kent, who I would say is probably our first choice left winger at the moment. Candace is the right, but certainly with Middleton being in there, it's I think it would cause a hell of a lot of problems in that game. So if it was up to me, I would be starting Middleton as our main striker. I know that's not his position, but I just think confidence high at the moment, and I think it would cause a lot of damage. The new Derek, I don't know if you agree with me, or if you would go with Grezda up front, or maybe try.
Again, it's you've got to protect them. I mean, there's arguments to be made about the fact that we did put out a bunch of players on loan. I'm not even going to include the likes of Herrera and Pena in that one, but there's a couple of youngsters that went out, like Zach Rudden, who's scored 3 and 3, I think, is he not, for Falkirk just now. There's obviously Ryan Hardy, who was coming onto a game before he went out on loan, and obviously then there's there's a case of not re-signing Jason Cummins, wasn't it? So even though some of these players, they weren't maybe first team candidates, they were certainly good backup, I would have said. So
with also a player that you've missed out there that a few players have been talking about was recalling Joe Dodu. which is always another option. But I don't think that Dodo's been getting his place in the Blackpool team, and obviously they're not even playing at Championship level, Derek. So maybe that's been a wee loan move that's no worked out, for him. But at the same time, Dodo's got experience scoring into Aberdeen, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, exactly so. Well, I don't know, it's going to be a difficult one. Sadiq's got 4 games. We've got 4 games from now until the semi-final to see if he's going to feature. And a lot of the talk before the game is surely he must get a start on, or at least on the bench for the Ayr United game, given the it's a lesser standard of opposition. But
yes,
he never even featured on the bench. So
that's what I mean. That's why I've got a feeling that he's. That Steven Gerrard's not got any confidence in the guy at all. It's a bit of a dilemma. And again, going back, we spoke about the Jason Cummings thing. We had the chance to sign him and didn't sign him. But going by some of his sort of off-field antics recently, maybe that was a good thing that we didn't sign him. But I would have liked to have seen. There are a player who played against us there in that Ayr game, and Lawrence Shankland, he's banging the goals in just now, albeit in the Championship. He is a young player, but a lot of people were saying, oh no, it'd just be exactly like what Nicky Clark did when we signed him. But he's a completely different player, Shankland, and he's been scoring goals for every season that he's played for Ayr, and he's a very young player. I wouldn't have been too disappointed if they'd have made a wee bid for him in the summer, but that didn't come off. So, no, it's going to give us a bit of a dilemma, Derek, but certainly if it was up to me, I would be inclined to put Middleton in there.
Yeah, it's the one thing about the transfer window. We signed 15 players and we left it too late to was that a burp?
Excuse me.
I just heard this like muffled
Aye, the ginger Pepsi Max is just as fizzy as the normal stuff, Derek.
Yeah, we signed 15 players in the closed season there, and we left it too late to sign the strikers, I think. And I know he was starting from the back and working forward, but
yeah.
It was. I felt we could have at least done with one more striker. But it's hindsight's a great thing now. But as we said, it's a dilemma. Anyway, getting on to the obvious drama with the actual fixture. Obviously, we all know by now that we drew Aberdeen in the semi-final, and it was to be played on Sunday the 28th. Now, that was because, well, certainly we were the second team to be drawn out, or we were the second fixture to be drawn out. Celtic and Hearts were the first fixture, so tradition dictated that the first team drawn out would be playing on the Saturday at Hampden, and the second team would be playing the Sunday. So no issues with our game whatsoever. However, both of us are playing in the Europa League on the Thursday, so it was deemed that Celtic couldn't play on the Saturday. Well, we did when we were on our UEFA Cup run, didn't we? So,
yep, that's correct,
Yep. So, both games were allegedly going to be playing on the Sunday, with us kicking off at 12 midday and Celtic Hearts kicking off at 19:45.
Yes. Recipe for disaster, Derek.
Do you know what? I was quite happy with it, to be honest, because you can get into it, and it's a story for another day, but it was going to be better for Scottish football to prove that they could do it. Now, there was a lot of people saying that, it's going to be chaos, 100,000 fans in the city centre all, drinking and all that. Well, that was never going to be the case, because, there'll be people like me that go to the game and get out again straight away. We don't hang about. We very rarely go to the pub. And the likes of, when they think that there's going to be trouble, more people do that. They just go into the game and then get out again straight away, because they think there might be trouble. So
I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Derek, but there are also, and they would be in the minority, let's be honest, but there would be a very small minority who would stay in the city centre, and who would stay in the pubs, and who would cause bother if they were drunk. And that is all, we've seen, we're going to get into what happened at the Livingston game. That is all that would be concentrated on. That's all the media would be concentrated on, even if there was 20 supporters for each of those 4 teams that cause bother in the city centre. Later on at night, that's all that we would hear about. It would only take a very small minority to cause the problems, Derek, and that would be, the negative, and that's what it would be. Whether or not, the vast majority of people behaved themselves and got away, all we would hear about would be the small minority. So I think it would. I still think it would be a recipe for disaster, and that's just the way I see it. I'm just my pessimistic self, especially with the media. If there was a very small minority of Rangers fans got into bother for anything with any other fans, it would just be plastered over everywhere that we were on the rampage and there was thousands of us doing it and all of that. I think if you take the temptation away altogether, Derek, it would be the best for everybody. But that's my own personal opinion. I know you think completely differently, but I think it would be a recipe for disaster.
I think you've got to remember is the fact that the Scottish football and things like this is built on fear, and largely the fear is based on a cup final which happened 40 years ago. That's the reason why alcohol is not allowed in football stadia in Scotland, where it's allowed in England, because they never had that issue, but this is why Scottish football is seen as a backwater, because we can't do things like this. We can't play two games on the same stadium on the same day at different times, and this is the reason why Scottish football's in the state's in. Because you could argue the fact that, well, it's the Old Firm, but then it's not just the Old Firm, because there's been trouble other times as well. So ultimately, I think it was a ridiculous decision, maybe not to have the two games on the same day. I think the start times of both games were ridiculous as well, because we'll get into this in a minute, but the first train from Aberdeen to Glasgow on the Sunday was getting into Glasgow at 12:15, 50 minutes after the kickoff. So that was a joke for us to start. Yep. What happens if that game then went into extra time and penalties?
Yep.
Could they clear the ground in time? What would the pitch condition be like? And then it comes to the 1945 kickoff for the Celtic Hearts game. Public transport. What happens if that went into extra time and penalties as well? You wouldn't get public transport back to Edinburgh for the fans. So it was a bit of a joke in all counts, to be honest.
Totally. Yep.
Now, the point about Aberdeen fans is they can fuck right off straight away for the fact that they're complaining they want fairness. They want 50% of the ground. They want 50% of the tickets. Their fair allocation. They had a semi-final, a Scottish Cup semi-final last year against Motherwell at Hampden on a Saturday. I think it was a 3:00 kickoff. I think, or it was round about that time. Mm-hmm. The total attendance for that game was just under 18,500 for both sets of fans. So if they can't fill that when they've got a perfect time to do it at, why the fuck should they get 50% of the tickets for this game? Yeah, so Aberdeen fans, they can shut the fuck up right now.
You speak your mind, Derek.
I'll just do that.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Maybe not. I might not put it as blunt as you did, Derek. But yes, it's. But again, if it had been against any other team, Derek, would they be making this much noise?
No, of course not.
No, definitely not. But we all know that we will fill our half of Hampden, no problem. Twice over we could fill the whole of Hampden. We almost did it when we were playing in the second division against Queen's Park. I was there, so there's never going to be any issues that way. But as you say, Aberdeen, get a grip of yourselves. There's absolutely no way that they're going to be able to fill half of that stadium. Regardless about train times and starting times and all that, it wouldn't matter. And as I say again, it's just a bit of a farce, isn't it?
Yep. So basically, over the last couple of days, after ScotRail, the police, MSPs, fans, media all complained they were looking to change this, and basically, this is what the weird thing is, and in fact, it's not even weird, it's just downright ridiculous that Neil Doncaster came out and says that there was no other option to have the games at Hampden on the same day. They were contractually obliged to be at Hampden, and everybody has agreed with this. Well, it turns out that some of the clubs weren't happy about it, ScotRail weren't happy, the police weren't happy, fans weren't happy, so nobody was happy about it, yet there was no other option, and every option had been discussed, apparently. But now it's obviously came out tonight that it's been confirmed that Celtic and Hearts have been moved to Murrayfield with I think it's a 3 o'clock, a 1 o'clock kickoff. And they'll be playing at Murrayfield, obviously, and we're staying at Hampden, but now with a 4:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
In typical fashion, Celtic have released a statement stating it's just pure discriminatory, unfair, and a ballot should have been held. So, 100 years of institutional discrimination, isn't it? Fucking arseholes.
Well, I mean, Derek, there's certain things in life that you're certain of, and you're certain of a Celtic statement, just about over anything, regarding their club and any type of fixtures and stuff like that. We just knew that there would be a statement waiting there. I'm actually dying to hear what Craig Levine's got to say about it. He's bound to have a belter of a one-liner in there, surely. I'm really quite disappointed I've not spoke to him yet. But Derek, see, to be honest with you, I wouldn't have minded Rangers playing at Murrayfield. We would have sold out our allocation there as well, regardless. And in my opinion, much easier to get to. A lot of people have been putting a sort of West Coast of Scotland bias on it here, saying that it's no fair, as a vast majority of these supporters will be coming for the West, but that's not true, Derek. We've got Rangers supporters clubs all over Scotland, so it really wouldn't matter where we played, we would completely sell at that. And we've had the whole Hampden Murrayfield debate recently on the National Stadium. I was one who wanted it to be at Murrayfield. It's a better stadium, it's by far easier to get to, so it wouldn't have bothered me a jot if they'd have said that Rangers were playing at Murrayfield. I'd have been quite gladly, if I could have got a ticket, I would have went to that, no problem. Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand this whole, in fact, well, I do, because they've always played in the victim complex, with it. I mean, they've got to realise that, and as I pointed out, theirs was the first game that was drawn out, so traditionally they should have been the Saturday game. So it was their game that was the issue, not the Rangers game. So there shouldn't have been a ballot. It was their game that was the issue. If they wanted it to still be at Hampden, have it on the Saturday then. That's up to you, because it doesn't make any difference to Hearts. They were having to play a game anyway. Yep. So, it's only Celtic that were the SPFL in that respect were trying to do them a favour. No us, but that's the Celtic way as usual. But to be honest, with the whole situation, once again proves that the Doncaster is unfit for duty, because it makes you wonder. Initially, did the SPFL board have a meeting? And because he is there to represent the SPFL board as the effective chairman and spokesman, were they not? So, is he making these decisions off his own back? How many more times is he going to preside over farces like this? And once again, it just makes Scottish football look amateur.
Yep, totally, yep.
But anyway, so, as I said, and as you said, makes no difference to us one bit. We could have played on the Sunday at Murrayfield. We would have sold our allocation. We would have went there with a strong team and tried our best. So,
yep. Exactly, and I honestly don't think that there would have been any statements published from us, and I wouldn't have liked to have thought that there'd have been thousands and thousands of our fans up in arms with regards to it being at Murrayfield, and so I don't think it would have made a difference to us. I think what a lot of them are annoyed about is the fact that Hearts had used Murrayfield as their home stadium for a few games, so they're well used to it, their fans are well used to it, so it'll be more like a home match for them. But come on, I would have relished it like we did before when we beat them at Murrayfield. One of the sort of best performances we had last season, Derek, let's be honest. And it didn't make it didn't matter a jot to us or our fans. And speaking to all the fans that were there, they absolutely loved going there, and it was great to go and see our club play in a stadium like that. It was a great day out and everything, and a fantastic result. So I'm actually quite gutted that we're not at Murrayfield. They made them think about it, Derek.
Yeah, but well, we'll move on now to the next game, which is the disappointing one. Yep. Yeah. Sunday the 30th of September, it was a 1-0 defeat away to Livingston. Shit, wasn't it?
It was, Derek. After watching the first 10 minutes, which I'm sure you're going to get into, I just had a feeling that it was going to be one of those days. I've got a few reasons why I think it wasn't our day. which I think that we both agreed on a few of them, but I'll let you get into the match first.
Yep, so we lined up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Worrell, Barisic, Ejaria, Koulibaly, Arfield, Candeas, Morelos and Lafferty. On the subs bench we had Foderingham, Katic, Halliday, McCrory, Grezda, Kent, Middleton. Now, as I kind of highlighted in the reaction pod, that was 8 changes.
Yes.
We're not really at a stage, I don't think just now, that we can make 8 changes from game to game and expect the team just to fit back in.
Not even 8 changes in personnel, Derek, but a complete change in shape and formation. And I still don't know what formation we started out there, Derek. And I'm listening to some of the other so-called experts, pundits, and reading the match reports, they don't know either. Now, were we playing 2 up front? Were we playing Kyle Lafferty playing on the left-hand side? Were we playing, him, having a sort of free role and no having a left-sided player out there? It was a bit bizarre, considering that we are very strong in that position. We've got Middleton, we've now got Grezda, and we've got Kent, who all play in that position. And for not one of them to be playing to sort of give us that balance, it was just bizarre, Derek. It's totally strange. And again, it's shown us that playing 2 up front or playing the 2 strikers together just doesn't work for us.
Yeah, well, it was a strange one. I just think, though, that the whole team seems to be off. As I said in the reaction pod, it was a case of Livy played very well and we just played within ourselves. And I think there was several things, and I think, that contributed to the way we played. And I think the formation probably was one of them, and the personnel as well. It was baffling, to be honest. And
I'll give you my thoughts on it at the end of your review of the match.
Right. So in the second minute, Livingston had a quick move, played out to their attacker in the box on the right. Worrell never picked him up, and it was a cross come shot, and it was just wide of the post.
Yeah, just wide.
Yep. On the 10th minute, it was a long free kick by Livingston into the box. A free header knocked down in the centre of their box. Livingston attacker slid in, got his foot to it and put it just wide.
Yep,
really should have been both.
Wide.
It should have been in from both, either the header or the follow-up there. The 15th minute, there was a penalty claim for us when Morelos went down. Probably would have been soft for me. It was more of a shoulder challenge. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, no, I was the same, Derek, but when I kind of obviously we all jump up at the one time, don't we? Penalty, but when you do see it, you're saying to yourself, well, he didn't really, his hands weren't up. It was just a sort of strong body check, and you would be expecting a player of the physique of Morelos to be able to withstand something like that. So as you say, it would have been quite soft if they'd have gave it.
Yep. 20th minute, it was a good move from Koulibaly getting down the right. It was a good cross and a header wide by Morelos. 21st minute, it was a header on target by Koulibaly, but it was really easy for the keeper to take.
Yeah.
30th minute was a good shot from Ejaria on the left at the edge of the box, but it was saved and gathered by the keeper again, fairly easy. And then it all went wrong in the 33rd minute. Livingston scored the goal. It was a set play that wasn't dealt with. It was a long ball to the right, a simple pass into the box, cut back into the middle, a sclaffed by the first attacker, and then the second attacker to put it through McGregor's legs and into the back of the net. The worst thing about that is there was probably about 3 or 4 attempts where we could have made to try and snuff that out before a shot had even been hit, and we just never done it, did we?
It was a culmination, Derek, of bad defending by quite a few players. I hate it. It's breaking my heart having to say anything bad about Barisic, because you know how highly I think of him, but defensively he looked shaky. Worrell looked really pretty bad, and even McGregor, Derek, some of the saves that McGregor has been pulling off, you would be expecting him to save that, but it basically went right through him. In the centre of the box. It was really poor defending by all involved, wasn't it? You couldn't give any of them a pass, and I'm including McGregor in that as well. I thought it was really, by his standards, very, very poor.
Yep, so On the 37th minute, it was a cross from the left from Barisic. Ajaria got up and heads it over the bar, and then it headed into half-time. Now, obviously really disappointed with the way we played. As I said, we played within ourselves. We always play our best this season so far when we just go out at it, and we just didn't seem interested this game, did we?
I just think, Derek, there was... I mean, apart from, again, this is my opinion, the only player that really got pass marks in that half for me was Scott Arfield. I thought Arfield had up a pretty decent game, Derek. I thought he was getting up and down, he was trying to get things going, but he was getting bogged down in midfield. You know, the rest of Koulibaly didn't look his usual dynamic self. Ejaria was, nowhere to be seen. And then our front three were just doing absolutely nothing. It was the quietest game I've seen Lafferty have. And Candace was completely, anonymous as well in that game. It's just we weren't showing any out balls at all. And, when we were getting the ball, we just looked as if we couldn't be bothered. Really, we really did. There was no urgency. It was just completely disjointed. It was bizarre to watch. It was like watching a completely different team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But so we're hoping it was going to be another case of one of the bollockings that Gerrard normally gives the team at half-time, but it just really never materialised, did it?
No, not at all.
Certainly Koulibaly came off at half-time and Kent came on, and he kind of almost instantly kind of really showed what he was about. Kent threaded a lovely ball through the middle into the box for Morelos. The keeper narrowed the angle and made a good save from a shot from Morelos, and that was in the 48th minute, and that was really the only major chance we had for the whole game, where it was clear cut, where he could have buried it. He maybe had a wee bit too much time in his hands once again, but that was the only thing I could really say all game. And then obviously the moment of another controversial moment here from our point of view. On the 57th minute, the linesman was hit by a coin thrown from our fans, and his head was split open. Now, I had a go at the fans once again on the post-match reaction pod, but I'm just absolutely sickened by the idiots in our fan base that seem to think that this is acceptable. We've had people on Twitter trying to justify it. We've had people on Twitter trying to, say, didn't he grass? People are trying to grass him up. Damn fucking right, this person should be grassed up, and anybody who knows him who's not willing to grass him up to either the club or to the police are just as bad, to be honest. We have no place for this in our club whatsoever. Within half an hour of that game finishing, there were 3 stories about it, 3 separate articles on the Daily Record website. A day after that, we've had Jim White come out and say something about it and have a go at us. A day after that, we've had a story from Hugh Dallas come out and condemn it as well. Obviously, he knows what it's all about. It drags on, and some of the other podcasts have kind of rightly said that fan doesn't represent the fan base as a whole. Correct. However, it does, because that's how we're labelled now.
Yep,
that's
totally.
That's all that's been talked about is the Derek, fact that Rangers fans have caused this.
Derek, the thing, something that infuriated me the other day that I read on social media from someone who we both know, who supports a small provincial club in Scotland, not even a Premier League club, joined in on a wee debate on social media, and his exact words were, it'll probably be another one of these scum singing sectarian songs and throwing objects at referees. And that's what he said. Now, he was doing it on the wind-up, but that is how anybody that doesn't support our clubs, they will now use this against us constantly. So this guy does represent us, Derek. I'm just more, I'm not going to say sickened by it, I'm just more furious with regards to it, because do these people know, have they not learned anything, Derek? How many times have we said it on this pod, even the slightest negative from our fans, whether it be singing of certain songs, it could be anything, Derek, anything at all. I mean, we even had fucking newspaper reports about kicking your sandcastles, for God's sake. But Do these guys just not get it, Derek? Do they not get it? Do they know? Maybe it's a younger generation thing that haven't experienced what we've experienced with the press and with everybody having a go at us for the slightest wee thing. But it's absolutely disgraceful. And getting on to your point there, Derek, see this word grass. I absolutely hate that word. I could not give two shits what some scummies, young laddies that go on about, you didn't grass and him, man, you didn't grass and him. It's no the fucking Sopranos we're in, Derek. It's no the fucking the mafia that we're in.
They think they're for fucking Compton, they're for fucking Govan, for fuck's sake.
It's not even for Govan, Derek. They could be for anywhere in Scotland. They could be for fucking Raploch and Stirling. They could be for the fucking Bogue and Falkirk. It is this stupidity about grassing. We didn't grass. Nobody gives a shit if you grass or no. Let's be honest with you. Right. Nobody gives a shit. And it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And they have now put our club, and these people that are saying, you didn't grass your own, they're just as bad for saying something like that, because they're covering up people who are fundamentally ruining the reputation of your club, Derek. And it's absolutely, if you love your club so much, you will make sure that this guy gets fucking brought to justice and he has nothing to do with your club ever again and he doesn't get back in. That's as far as I see it.
Yeah, I mean, somebody says, it's no worth ruining somebody's life over. Well, no. That fucking wee idiot should have thought about the consequences beforehand. And I don't care if it was drink-fueled. If you can't behave yourself when you've got a drink, then don't go to the games or don't drink. Simple as. And I'm fed up of these people that turn around and say, the press write shit about us anyway. Yeah, they do. But don't give them ammunition to do it.
Exactly.
And at least then, if they do write shit, and it genuinely is shit, you've got comeback on it and you can call them out in it. You can't call them out in this because they're telling it as it is. There's a wee fan that's thrown something, injured the referee. Assaulted the referee, because that's what it is.
You mentioned Compton there, Derek, and it takes me back to a famous rapper from Compton called Ice Cube, and he actually said in one of his tracks, and it's actually pretty, it sums this up, and he said, don't do the crime if you can't do the time, and that's what that fucking boy done. So I didn't give a shit if somebody says you're going to ruin his life. What that boy done was inexcusable, and I didn't want him having anything to do with my club. And if he's been stupid enough to do it, then he should be facing the consequences, Derek.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we kind of bang on about, fans. We've got some of the best fans in the world, and I think that's been proven time and time again. So, that's not taken away from that at all. But there's elements of, especially the away fans this year especially, who have disgraced themselves and ourselves. There's elements of the away fans that have completely, vindicated themselves in terms of being a credit to the club. However, there's that element that have been absolute wankers and are starting to cost the club reputation, potentially more. And the club tonight, or earlier on today, have released a statement basically just reminding fans that the fact that UEFA act on strict liability, so if anything happens with our fans tonight, it's the club that get in trouble for the European Games. So I think that was obviously done on the back of what's happened at the Livingston game. So as I said, people don't think that it does reflect in the club, but it really does.
It does.
So that's all I want to say on that, but it really just pisses me off, obviously, and enough said.
Yes.
So really, no lot else happened in the game after that, to be honest. 65th minute, Lafferty came off, Middleton came on. Never really done much because, again, none of the other team were working either.
Exactly.
67th minute, McGregor had a good save and he put it out for the corner after a quick break from Livingston. In the 69th minute, Kent was hard working on the edge of the box to get the ball and have a shot right at the keeper, but it was comfortably saved again. And that's how the game really finished up. Livingston never had really anything major after that. It was a few fleeting things, but nothing that you could say about, nothing that I could write home about anyway, but neither did we. And really angering performance, because as I said, there's no point of capitalising on the mistakes of the other teams the previous week then go and get them beat the next week. That's just, once again then put us 2 points behind Celtic now. So Interesting though from Gerrard and his comments over the last couple of days, and he's came out and says, I agree that I made mistakes in that game, and as regrettable it is, it's something I will learn from, and I'm kind of glad it's happened so that way. So it's good to see if he does learn on these mistakes, and actually, unlike Warburton, does change things about for the better in that respect.
Derek, again, going back, and it is good that he's came out and said that, and he's recognised that the amount of changes, it wasn't the amount of changes that got me, Derek, it was just the whole setup of the team. It was the formation that got me. I think that's where it went wrong completely. I think he had guys, that the whole system that he was playing is a system that we've not been used to. A lot of people have been going on about the pitch, but Livingston are going to use that to their advantage. Of course they are. I sent you a wee text saying that the amount of water that I thought had been put in the pitch, the ball was going all over the place, but we've got to expect that when we go to these places, and I would like to think that we would have done our homework, and all of the training up to that game would have been done on our synthetic pitches that we've got at the Hummel Training Centre. So I'm not going to use that as an excuse as to why we got beat. Livingston set their team out to beat us. They did that. They used their pitch to their advantage, because obviously they're training on it every day as well. So it was just a poor performance. I mean, we went to Kilmarnock no long ago and played on their dreadful surface and absolutely annihilated them, Derek. So we honestly can't use that whole synthetic pitch as an excuse. It was a strange decision by Steven Gerrard to put that formation out. It was strange, the fact that we had no balance in the team. We had no naturally left-sided players playing there when we've got bloody loads of them. It's just bizarre. I just hope, as you say, that he's learnt from that and will not do that again. And he sets his team up with a bit more balance. And for young Glenn Middleton not to get a game after how well he played against Ayr United I was really quite surprised at that. But poor performance, as bad as we've seen under Steven Gerrard, and we just have to hope that that's a one-off, Derek.
Yeah. I mean, it was interesting that both of us hadn't mentioned the pitch until after the game. Absolutely, you can't use that as an excuse. But at the same time, the pitch was a disgrace. That was worse than Killie pitch. And I think it leads on to the conversation that needs to be had about, obviously, AstroTurf pitches within top flight. Now, I don't mind having them, but it has to be the top-notch one there that you can get. And I don't think many teams have an issue playing on the top quality ones, but when you've got that type of pitch where there's all the rubber pellets coming up straight away every time you kick the ball on the ground in that one, and all you could see was a trail of the black pellets coming up. That's no good for football, is it? So I think this is where it has to come in, where there needs to be a rule about a standardisation of it, because then at least then, if you've got a standardised pitch for every team that want to use it, then that means the likes of Rangers, Celtic or whoever can then go and get the same pitch to train on in their training grounds or wherever, or try and find the same equivalent pitch to do that, so they can be used to training on the same quality of pitch. Whereas you've got this total disparity now of having a decent AstroTurf and then a really shit one like that. So there's obviously reasons about it, and it's all about money, but at the same time it's not conducive of football, and
unfortunately, in the age that we live in, though, Derek, money talks, doesn't it? And money does rule over everything. And you've got to look at clubs like Livingston, Hamilton, Kilmarnock, who will train on their pitch every day. They'll not have to hire out anywhere, they'll not have to build it anywhere for their own training. Plus they'll be hiring that out to football academies, boys football all over the place, that'll hire the pitch twice, three times a week and stuff like that. So it's a big money maker for them. And until something can be done, I know I've been listening to it a lot, especially on certain phone-ins, and I think the guys on the We Welcome the Chase podcast were talking about something that I thought was quite interesting, that, you know, the SPFL should be looking at to try and arrange something so that some sort of grant can be put in place to make sure that, you know, something's done about the pitches, so that these, you know, every club can do something like that and make sure that they're not going to lose money out of it, and, you know, in the long run get paid back or something. It's certainly something that needs to be looked at, but again, I'm not going to use that as an excuse at all. It's happened, it's been allowed. Livingston played it to their advantage. I do honestly feel, Derek, if they'd have set the team out differently, we would have had a different outcome in that game. I honestly do. So I think a lot of the blame has to go down to not just the players, but the management team as well. But
So it leaves us in the table: played 7, won 3, drawn 2, lost 2, scored 15, conceded 7, goal difference plus 8, and points 11. We're 2 behind Killie and Celtic. We're 3 behind Hibs and Livingston. We are 8 points behind Hearts, who are clear leaders in first just now, and we are 2 ahead of Aberdeen. In the games to come, we obviously have the game tomorrow night, or it'll be tonight when you listen to this, which is at home to Rapid Vienna in the Europa League, which is a 8 o'clock kickoff.
Yep.
They sacked their manager and have appointed one of their former players as the new manager, so all changes there.
Yeah,
The next game after that is Sunday the 7th of October. That's at home to Hearts, which is a 3 o'clock kickoff. And the next game is Sunday the 21st of October, which is away to Hamilton in the Premiership. That's a 1:30 kickoff.
Yep.
Dave and I should be back after that game and before the next game after that, which is the 25th of October, Thursday, at home to Spartak Moscow in the Europa League, which is again a 8 o'clock kickoff. So
yeah,
all to play for in the next couple of weeks.
It is, Derek. It's disappointing now that you read out that league table, considering last week we were above Celtic for the first time, sitting in second place, starting to put a wee bit of pressure on Hearts, and then that one terrible performance, and that's us away back down in the league again. It's quite sickening, actually, when you think about it. We were on a total high last week, and now we're left totally flat. And as I think I commented on your post-match review on YouTube, it's the roller coaster of supporting Rangers, isn't it? It's highs and lows, and I think we're just looking for a wee bit of consistency now, aren't we?
Yep, we are that. So we now go into the classic match.
I now have to go into the toilet, so can you give me two minutes?
We're not doing the classic match from the toilet, man.
Cheers. 2 minutes.
And there it is. The final whistle's gone. Rangers have won the European Cup Winners' Cup.
Hello. That's me back.
That was quick.
I am back.
That was quick.
It was a tinkle I was needing, mate. Thankfully, it was a number 1, no a number 2.
I'm not even going to go there.
Right.
So, Dave, what classic match have you got for us now?
Oh, Derek, I had to actually do some serious work here, because I wanted to actually go back a bit further than normal. I wanted to, because I've been doing a lot of stuff, the sort of mid-90s and on, but I wanted to go back even further in time. I wanted to go back to the Graham Souness era, and I found a cracker of a game in which Rangers took on Dundee United. Now, at that point, this was when Dundee United were actually a good team. They're not like the team that they are now, and they had a lot of very famous names that were playing for them, as did Rangers. So the game that I am going to cover was in the season 1989-1990, and Rangers lined up that day with Chris Woods in goals, Gary Stevens, Stuart Monroe, Richard Gough, Nigel Spackman, Chris Vinicombe, Trevor Stephen, Mark Walters, Ali McCoist, Mo Johnson and John Bomber Brown. The Dundee United team that day, their management team of Jim McLean and Paul Sturrock, a lot of famous players, Alan Main, Van der Hoorn, Maurice Malpass, Jim McInally, John Clark, Alan Preston, Ray McKinnon, Darren Jackson, Paddy Connolly, Mixu Patalainen, and they also had Northern Ireland manager Michael O'Neill on the bench. So a lot of sort of famous players for Scottish football there, Derek. And certainly the first half of this game was an absolute cracker. It was back in the days of very short shorts and my favourite Rangers top of all time, the McEwen's lager with the stud collar and all that. It was quality to see. So in this game though, it was an early chance when the game kicked off, an early chance for Dundee United with a cross from Alan Preston to Ray McKinnon. He sort of scooped the ball over the bar. It was he really should have done better, to be honest. But then not too long after that, chance for Rangers with a ball played to Mark Walters on the edge, the centre of the box. He sort of held the ball up to find Ali McCoist, who had a sort of snap shot low from the edge of the box that was saved by Alan Main out for a corner. So really unlucky there. And then not long after that, great play in midfield, possession play is fantastic. Eventually finds its way out to Stuart Monroe in the left wing. He put a fantastic cross into the back post to Mo Johnson, who headed it back to Ali McCoist, who had a shot but just tackled at the last minute and the ball was cleared. So unlucky there. And then round about the 18th minute, Trevor Stephen had a cross for the right into the box. Mark Walters had a half-hit shot which sort of flashed past the post, so really unlucky there. But we didn't have long to wait because Rangers took the lead on the 20th minute.
McCoist wins it from Neary, a rare error by David Neary. Rangers trying to make him suffer. And Mark Walters does it. 20 minutes of the first half gone. A nightmare here for David Neary, who gave that straight to Ali McCoist. The United defence was exposed, and there was Walter with that crisp finish, leaving Main helpless. Mark Walters with his 10th goal of the season.
Ali McCoist, he actually dispossessed Neary on the left-hand side of the box. Pretty poor defending there by a player of his experience. He dispossessed him. He sees Mark Walters make a run into the box and plays a fantastic through ball to Mark Walters, who keeps his head and shoots low past Alan Main to make it 1-0 to Rangers. Great goal. And then after that, it was great skill by Chris Vinicombe, who nutmegged Jim McInally, and then a slide tackle by Maurice Malpass with high feet. That was an absolute shocker of a tackle, but that was back in the days, Derek, that there wasn't many yellow cards shown for tackles, and that certainly was. It was starting to heat up at that point in the game. There was a few nasty tackles going in, but that was certainly a pretty bad one, and nowadays that would have definitely been a yellow card at least. But tackles flying. John Brown had an absolute belter on Jim McInally, caught him a absolute cracker. He was, yellow carded, and then not long after that, a yellow card for Ray McKinnon, who pulled a shocker a tackle on Mark Walters. So there was a couple of yellow cards in there, but absolutely horrendous tackles. Really high tempo in that. Like I said, the fouls were flying, and Jim McInally was a wee bit annoyed with an earlier tackle he had Chris Vinicombe had put on him, and he absolutely crunched him again. No yellow card. It was pretty bad. But then on the 36th minute, Rangers doubled their advantage.
Oh, clumsy work there from Clark. The chance is on for McCoist. Created by Johnston, finished by McCoist, and yet another disaster in the United defence. United look as though they have a death wish here. John Clark it is this time, who completely miscues that attempted clearance. Goes straight there across to Johnston, hooks the ball away from Malpass, and McCoist is there with a deadly finish. McCoist with goal number 17 for the season.
Mark Walters' cross from the left-hand side. The clearance was completely sclaffed. It fell to Clark, who gets dispossessed by Mo Johnson, who finds Ali McCoist, who hits a low shot into the back of the net to make it 2-0 to Rangers. So a culmination of bad defending by Dundee United, but some great inventive play there by Rangers to get the ball back and find it to McCoist. So Rangers 2-0 up and cruising at this point. And then only 3 minutes, and that was Ali McCoist's 17th goal of the season at that point, I would like to add, so he was on fire. And then only 3 minutes after that, Rangers went 3-0 up.
Rangers in command, Walters now to Stevens. Boris Johnston with a great chance. To Rangers, 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Well, Rangers now in total command, and this was brilliantly set up again. Walters playing it wide to Gary Stevens. Well, look at the way the chance was created now. It was McCoist or Stephen who played it forward. There was Maurice Johnston, and Alan Main hadn't a hope.
Mark Walters on the right hand side, who spotted Gary Stevens making the overlapping run. He put the cross in to Trevor Stephen, who had a first touch layoff to Mo Johnson, who was running through, and he thundered the ball past Alan Main to make it 3-0 to Rangers. Great attacking play, fantastic cross and great vision by Trevor Stephen also. Fantastic goal all round. But Dundee United did pull one back just 4 minutes later in the 43rd minute.
Preston will take it. Clark has joined Patalainen in the box. There goes Clark. A brilliant header from John Clark. 2 minutes from half time.
It was a free kick played into the box and nobody was picking up big John Clark, and he headed it into the goal to make it 3-1, and that was the first time that Chris Woods had lost a goal in 7 games. It showed you how well the defence had been playing up until that point. But that got to half time. Action-packed first half, absolutely brilliant to watch. Then into the second half, it was actually Dundee United who had the better, most of the second half. They came out fighting. There was a lot of early pressure, 2 corners in a row within the first sort of 2 minutes of the second half, both cleared, and then a high ball in from a free kick, and Chris Woods actually missed the cross, and the ball was cleared off the line by Richard Gough, and then sort of pin ball in the 6-yard box. There was shots flying everywhere. It was getting cleared at the last minute, and then Nigel Spackman actually managed to clear the ball. So worrying times at that point, but they did manage to survive. And then another chance for Dundee United where Paddy Connolly had a shot, and it was fantastically saved by Chris Woods. And then a minute later, same player, Connolly again, 1-1 after Richard Gough missed a clearance, but he shot straight at Chris Woods again. So Dundee United firing the pressure, but Rangers really should have killed the game off after that. After Trevor Stephen wins the ball in midfield, he gives the ball to Mo Johnston, the right hand side, so that's the right hand centre of the box. He had all the time in the world. He hits a shot, cannons off the post. He really should have scored. And then just after that again, Mark Walters with a cross to McCoist, who heads it back to Chris Vinicombe. He has a first time shot just over the bar. That would have been sensational. It wasn't to be. Then Sandy Robertson, don't know if you can remember him, Derek. He was a young player at the time, very highly thought of. He actually came on for Mark Walters, and I thought this was quite funny listening back to the commentary, because there was mention of the Tennant Sixes at that point and how well that Sandy Robertson had played in the Tennant Sixes, and this had merited his chance to get on the bench. So it shows you how seriously the Tennant Sixes was taken back then. It was a great event, and for him to have played so well in that, it actually got him a chance in the first team. Darren Jackson then had a sort of weak header straight at Chris Woods from a cross, and then he had another chance. He actually missed it, point blank header from the cross. But after that, it was a full time. Rangers were absolutely immense in the first half. Dundee United were really good in the second half, but Rangers held their nerve and ended up winning 3-1 in total. It was just great to go back all that time, Derek, because I was only like 14 at the time, and I remember watching all these players and even looking at the Dundee United team full of Scotland and internationals and stuff that went on to, playing World Cups and everything like that, Derek. It was fantastic to see a really, really high tempo. Tackles were flying, and to get to see players like Mark Walters and Trevor Stephen play, who were absolute class acts for us. It was just, I really, really enjoyed it. It was great to watch.
Well, as you can imagine, I don't remember any of it. So. I mean, it was before my football supporting time, really.
Yes.
So I can be forgiven for that. So
yeah, no, I think you'd have been about 3-year-old or something like that at that point.
4.
There you go.
Maybe 5.
No, it was. I was, an avid supporter of Rangers then, and I was starting to go to the matches at that point. Mark Walters was one of my favourite players at the time, but going back, I can always remember how good a player Trevor Stephen was for us, and he did get his big money move to Marseille, and then when he came back to us, arguably he was an even better player when he came back to us the second point. So, no, we had a fantastic team full of battlers, Derek, which was good to see as well, and the likes of John Brown and that playing in the team. You knew you were going to get a battle when he was playing, but no, great stuff. And if you get a chance to watch it, and it's the link that I found on YouTube for it goes on for about 25 minutes, so it's really, really good to watch and really sort of in depth as well. So again, if you get the chance to go back and watch it, please do. You'll enjoy it. You really will.
Yep, absolutely. So we'll be back again with another classic match for the next episode. So, it's now time for the news. So, we've actually only got 2 pieces of news this week. It's a very, very quiet week. First one, obviously, following the news from the club, the initial run of home and third kits went on sale through their website. JD Sports put a limited number of home kits for sale online and through their stores. It was unannounced, and it was for about £5 cheaper, and some places £10 cheaper than what was going through the initial site, depending on what you bought. As usual, it got some fans raging, didn't it?
Yep, it certainly did. It was, but again, Derek, it was good to see, as you say, that it was cheaper than it was online. I think we had said before that the sort of average price for a top was about £50, and I'm sure there was some of them were saying that's how much it was getting. It was on sale for there as well. So, but as you say, very surprising and very last minute that it was put on there. There wasn't. I can see that there was a lot of fans were annoyed that there hadn't been a sort of big kit launch, and there wasn't a lot done in the social media and stuff like that till everyone. It just kind of just happened, didn't it? Very, very quickly and surprisingly.
I think that, as I've said previously on a tweet, is that clearly the club are doing things really the unconventional way, and the way that they probably don't want to do because of all the legal issues we've had with Sports Direct. And I think fans have just got to be patient on this one, for the fact that Sports Direct are arseholes. Mike Ashley's an arsehole. They're going to be arseholes to us, like they have been through every step of the process. People were complaining the fact that, we paid them £3 million, we're locked into this deal, the deal's still going on. Why did the club still take them to court to try and get out the deal that they tried to make to match any other vendor that would try to come in? And I think some people have got to realise that we paid them £3 million, which is a lot less than what they were due to the contract. We could have been locked into that contract for at least 7 years, and it was then rolling on. And sometimes you have to put things into deals to sweeten the pie to make them accept the deal. And I think that's been the case with the whole issue with they've got to be given first refusal to match any other exclusivity deal with any other company. And it's quite clear to me that Rangers have spoke to JD Sports. They've agreed to release them low key like this, with the proviso that JD are not the exclusive retailer for it. And probably what would have happened in that case is, because obviously we're releasing them through this Excel Sports or Excel group or whatever they're called online through that website, is that they're another company altogether, so the exclusivity deal's not there with JD, and maybe we've had to reduce what we're getting back from JD to accommodate this, and it's just a way of getting the shirts out there, because it's been
possibly,
it's been 3 months now. The sales, you've got in terms of the actual cost of it, if we're going through different retailers, of course different retailers are going to have different costs, different delivery dates, different dispatch dates, etc, etc. So you're going to have disparities in that. There's not going to be one thing. I think, a lot of this, a lot of the confusion is because of the fact that there's not been any sort of announcement. But at the same time, as I've said, I think the club have got to do things unconventionally just to try and go under the radar about getting out of this Sports Direct deal. But obviously it's something we'll need to wait and see. I'm no legal mind, and we'll just need to wait and see. But certainly it's looking promising anyway from what the order numbers are on the website sales anyway. If we're going by that, the sales are into the order numbers are well into the thousands. So you're looking at upwards of £1 million in sales over that. Just through the website alone. So and
also there's a lot of pre-orders as well, Derek, for all the training gear. I think that's what I said. I told you I was waiting to get, because I quite fancy one of the polo shirts and stuff like that they've got. So now that I'm an old man and all of that, and it's maybe I should be wearing football strips anymore, Derek, I don't know, but certainly the training gear looks quite good, and I've got a strip ordered for my wee boy as well, which is great. Finally, that we're able to do it. But we'll wait and see in the coming months, and hopefully there'll be the whole range of the training gear will be out, because it certainly looks really smart, all the sort of tracksuits and everything that they're wearing. And like I said, you can also get training tops, I think, that are on sale now also. So no, it's all looking promising, Derek, and about time, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next one here, and the last main one, is following a consultation with the takeover panel, Rangers have proceeded with the £12 million share issue. Each of the kind of nominated shareholders have been given an allocation of shares. Obviously, a lot of the loans have been converted into shares as well from the likes of the Three Bears. So it's looking promising in that respect anyway, wasn't it?
Great stuff, yep, brilliant.
So it gives a wee bit, I don't know how much extra working capital, I don't think it gives much, to be honest, but certainly it was a step in the right direction, what we're looking for, and certainly it reduces any loan repayments as well.
Which is great, yep. Mm-hmm.
So, man rubbed fruit on his bare bottom at supermarket and put it back on display.
Oh, manky bastard, okay.
Michael Dwayne Johnson, no relation to The Rock at all, yeah?
I hope no.
Aged 27, was spotted by an employee on Saturday in the Giant supermarket in Manassas, Virginia, United States. A statement from police said the employee noticed Johnson picking up produce, pulling down his pants and rubbing the produce on his buttocks and replacing the produce back on the shelf.
I hope it wasn't a pineapple.
He was later arrested and later charged with indecent exposure and destruction of property. Officers said the supermarket had to destroy several pallets of fruit after the incident. He surely can't be charged with that then, destruction of property, because it was the store that done it.
And I want to know what type of fruit it was, Derek, really.
It doesn't say here, actually, unfortunately.
Oh my God. So it just shows you, and that serves a lesson to everybody, always remember and wash the fruit when you bring it home from the supermarket.
Yes. A driver has allegedly been caught red-handed watching porn as he drove down the road. South Yorkshire's police operational support tweeted about this incident this morning after a vehicle was pulled over in Doncaster for having no insurance. But after they pulled over the individual, I hope that's all they pulled over, was discovered that they might not be paying full attention to the road. Oh
my God.
Officers claim a phone was positioned on the dashboard with adult material playing.
Why I'm actually quite worried, Derek, was, you know, how many hands did they have on the steering wheel when he was watching it?
Maybe one and a third leg, I don't know.
Do you want to know something? Apart from that, that is absolutely mental that somebody would even do that. Really?
That's an illness, that's got to be.
You've really got to worry about folk, eh? Big time.
I know we get all get urges and all that kind of thing, but jeez,
It might have been quite worrying that he had his hand on the gear stick the whole time. Bizarre.
I don't know where to go with that one.
No, definitely no.
Right, so that wraps up the podcast for this episode. So it'll be a couple of weeks again before we're back. I think about 3 weeks because Dave's away off his holiday, and we've actually got a break. No, this weekend, but the weekend after, haven't we? In terms of games, I don't know what that's for. Actually, internationals.
I think it's internationals again. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Certainly keep an eye out on our Twitter feed. We'll be always tweeting about some random thing or the other. Obviously, that's our Twitter feed is at iReadyPod. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/iReadyPod. We've got our YouTube and Instagram pages. Obviously, we are still on Spotify, so check out the podcast there. We've got our website, which is iReadyPodcast.wordpress.com. If you check out the episodes page, you obviously get all our podcasts, what we're going to be talking about, a wee blurb about what we're going to be talking about, each game we cover as well. And I'm going to start putting the post-match reaction pods link to that, so that will link into YouTube as well, and obviously the classic match with the link to the YouTube feed as well on that. So certainly check out our website as well, where you get all our back episodes also. So
quality, yes.
Yep. So Dave and I will be back in about 3 weeks' time. I hope Dave has a good holiday, and we'll speak to you. Certainly I'll speak to you again after the game tomorrow. Well, tonight it will be, won't it? So
yes.
So thanks very much, and goodbye.
Take care, folks. Goodbye.
And the stadium erupts in red, white and blue. You've never seen anything like it.
Let's go.
Brace yourself.
Rangers are coming!
I actually think it's quite nice. When I first tasted it, I thought it tasted a bit like soap, but it's...
That's a good indictment, that.